This is no earthworm.
Stanford versus Texas.
You promised me explosions. Let's go.
Good afternoon and evening and maybe morning, depending on where you're watching this. It is welcome to Enterprise at 8. This is Live Long and Podcast Star Trek Enterprise Rewatch series. It's been over 20 years since tonight's episode Vox Sola first aired, but we're just getting started here at Enterprise at 8. I'm Jody Simpson, and joining me tonight is our awesome producer and the man who does unspeakable things in the mess hall, Dave Mater.
Yes. I eat the same way, but I don't do it in front of others. You know?
Oh, okay, fair enough. And of course, who could forget the guy who thinks Archer gets cooler with even more mentions of water polo, Kevin Millard.
Oh my God, don't get me started. I can't believe we had to watch water polo in this episode.
Best sport in the world.
Best sport in the world.
Oh God. I don't know what was worse, watching him cheer or watching the water polo.
I think it was a toss-up for sure. And Adam,
And I thought it was just a bunch of guys screwing around in a pool.
Wow, those things just jump in sometimes. Adam is currently traveling on business and won't be joining us tonight, but I'm sure he'll be back shortly. Anyway, tonight's episode, as I said, is Vox Sola. This is the 22nd episode of the series, also the 22nd episode of the first season, so there you go. This is the episode where Hoshi desperately tries to communicate with a symbiotic alien creature that captures crew members, including Archer and Trip, and cocoons them in its web and bonds with them. Kinky. All right. Well,
good. I liked this episode.
it was fun. It was fun enough, I think.
It's okay.
The water polo was the worst part.
It's okay. I don't know if I'm being unduly hard on this show. I know it's first season and everything, but I still feel like they could have done more with this alien, like with them being linked together.
Yeah.
The two people being linked together is kind of a classic. They always do it well, except this time we understand that even in an emergency, all Archer is thinking about is water polo.
Well, it is the greatest sport in the world.
Greatest sport in the world. It's 1 part basketball or something.
Think of it as 1 part basketball, 1 part swimming, and 1 part wrestling.
Wrestling.
Yeah. Because
Which
why
he's not
wouldn't you want
wrong.
those things together?
He's not wrong. That's really what water polo is. But like, who, when they decided to do the character bios of these characters, said, you know what? He's going to be obsessed with a sport. What sport can we be obsessed with? Basketball? Soccer? No, water polo.
Has to be a Scott Bakula thing.
Maybe.
Yeah, you think it's a Scott Back? I liked it. Like, whenever it comes up in the fun facts, because it hasn't yet. You'd think that Archer would be into archery.
I think maybe they would have thought that was a little stupid. I mean, that would have been better than water polo, but
yeah, or just because baseball with Francisco would be with something sad. Star Trek news.
Well, we're eagerly waiting to find out.
Was it that Stanford lost to Texas?
Well,
in this future game. But meanwhile, like that was
we
very
never did
low
find
res.
that out though.
No,
yeah,
but it's implied that Trip did watch it.
Trip well, he kind of gave a wink there. Yeah, like that he might know the result at least.
Nathan Jung died on April 24th, 2001 at the age of 74. No cause of death was disclosed. The original series episode, The Savage Curtain, oh, okay, I know who this is, was one of Jung's first on-screen credits as Genghis Khan. No, that's
oh my God, I just watched that one with William. He fucking loves that's the one with
it's a good one. I like that one.
With the
silly,
Italians. I just did a mission last night that's in Star Trek Online that's based on that episode.
Really?
Like Abraham Lincoln's there, and you're you're going through all these trials, and he's with the lava monster guy.
Oh
and,
yeah.
yeah, it's something. And Michael Burnham's in that episode too. Yeah, it's a real mashup of things.
Sounds
Yeah.
like it.
But yeah, there's been a lot of Star Trek original series people we've lost.
Well, this is kind of the time frame, right?
Yeah.
So, we don't live forever, unfortunately, Sam, and that's just how it is. But either way, yes. Well, we can always
Speak for
appreciate
yourself. Riker intends to live forever.
Riker's wrong.
Close.
But anyway,
Yeah, we haven't seen him.
and if you saw him in Picard season 1, you would know he's definitely on his way. So,
What, he
anyway.
makes pizzas? He's got his kitchen all like high tech security system. There's lots of good things going on with Riker post
Anyway,
Enterprise days.
let's get back to this episode. I think
All
we're
right.
getting off track. What do you think? But anyway,
Should we have
so
interest in-
so yeah. Well, we've covered it.
I really like the
I'm
opening.
not even posting that one, but anyway, that comment.
Almost all of Gilligan's Island is dead.
Sam's got to get that Gilligan's Island zinger in there any chance he can. Anyway, so yeah, the episode basically starts with them. What was the name of the aliens?
Sorry, I gotta look that.
I don't even
up.
remember what it was.
But I got a picture of them here.
Good.
The good makeup for them in this episode.
Yes,
I
I did. I thought that was good. Yeah.
I like it's kind of like this episode has a lot of Hoshi kind of focus, but it's not even just a Hoshi episode per se.
No, it
It's
isn't.
kind of
Yeah.
it's a real team up episode.
Yes, they actually
It is,
spread it
yeah.
out.
Yeah, they spread
is
it out.
nice.
It's not just focused on one person, and every so often the other ones show up. Like we have like the conflict between Phlox and what's his
Reed.
name? Yeah, Reed.
Oh, I love
which-
that.
I love that.
We find out that Reed is never in charge of anyone.
Yeah.
Even when he tries to pull rank, he's still
Yeah,
not in
he pulls
charge.
rank, but he pulled rank in the worst possible place. Which
You
is
promised me
okay.
explosions.
He wants explosions. He wants to torture things. He belongs in the mirror universe. I really think more than anything.
Probably, yeah, he would definitely be it. But the makeup on these guys is great. Like
Yeah.
I thought it looked great. The costumes are cool too.
I like this opening scene. They do opening scenes in this show really well. They set up a good premise.
They do a
Yeah.
they do a good teaser, don't they?
Cretosans. They're called Cretosans.
Cretosans? Oh, okay. I just called them.
Cretosans.
Oh, Cretosans is the name of the aliens.
Yes.
Oh, okay. There you go. But
Assuming
I
they're
would have liked to see
Cretosans.
more of them. We only got them at the beginning and at the end, really.
Yeah.
They were the vessel for the entity, more than anything.
Well, yeah, they were. It was like a stowaway on their ship, and it kind of latched into theirs.
Yeah.
We got a couple shots of that. Yeah, you see like the aliens there, and then it like kind of comes over and.
Now the all CG shots of this look good, but when they do like the animated limbs falling off,
it works better in space. Yeah,
it looks like those. You remember those tube things that you'd play with when you were a kid that
Oh, yeah.
kind of infinitely rolling. You could roll them, and they were
Looks
just
exactly
basically
like
a donut.
those, but they're
Yeah.
not quite the right weight for the gravity that they're in
Yes,
in this show.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
like it's kind of a jizz monster, guys. Like I don't want to.
It is really a jizz monster,
but
yeah.
it's like it's kind of gross, and you see like some of these slimy, gross tentacles things. I don't.
And then we saw water polo, and that was the worst.
Yeah, that was the real disturbing part. It has a real I don't know, like Ghostbusters feel even to it in some ways.
Yeah, yeah.
but-
It does. It's got Gozer the whatever.
the Carpathian,
No,
or was Vigo the Carpathian?
Vigo was the Carpathian. Yeah.
Yeah, but like sometimes it works, and some of these tentacles when they're moving, it's 2002.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
I
is
don't worry
2002
so much
CG. It
about
was
the
decent
CG.
then. This was the first jump to high def too, so you got to remember that as well. So there's a lot of stuff they got to do here.
Yeah.
But either way, I liked it. I thought it was okay. But I agree with you. They didn't do anything with this alien other than just hang up a bunch of people. And every so often, if the light touched this alien, they would squeeze harder and
Right.
kind of recoil, kind of like a snake would, right?
I
Yeah,
think
there you go. That's a perfect example of how the CG didn't fit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
it looks
shadow is
fake.
all wrong on this for sure.
Right.
The shadow's wrong. The lighting's wrong.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's the technology, I guess, at the time, but it's also like the capabilities, like the skill level, I think, and what they
Yes.
had to,
Yeah.
the time they had to do it, and because this is the same time as like the Star Wars prequel movies, and those look.
But you're right, Dave, when you say the time that they had. Like, this is a weekly show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You only have X amount of time. Yeah.
But even like the prequel, like the Star Wars prequel movies, in comparison, look sometimes kind of like
They look awful. in
phony.
some
Like
scenarios.
this,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Right. I like there were some great like moments in here. I like that like each of the crew gets a little bit to do in this episode.
Yes. Yeah.
Even Mayweather. When
I also like the Hoshi and T'Pol thing where T'Pol's like, I'm only riding your ass because I know you can do it. So
Right.
like, and it's my job. Like my job as essentially first officer is to, make sure I'm in touch with everything that's going on with the crew. Like that's my job. Like
I'm your boss.
Riker was the same way. Riker would like jump into things that he wasn't supposed to be in. Like
Spock.
yeah,
we do
Spock,
too.
same thing. Yeah. So it's, it makes sense that she's doing that. But I like, again, obviously, Jaemeel Bullock there, she knows how to act. Like she's really good at not expressing emotion, but still getting the point across, which I thought was great. But I definitely like the Phlox and Reed thing the most. It's like, do I have to remind you that I've, I outrank you? And he's like, not in my sick bay, you don't. It's like, true.
I also like that Reed is the guy who invented force fields, or at least perfected force fields, like the first ones.
I get the impression that he didn't invent them.
No,
perfected them. He was just trying to get it to work with this thing.
Well, he kind of
I think they
explains
already
that
exist.
They were like theoretical, and they had kind of they had taken it so far, but they hadn't like gotten it to work functionally. So there was like a concept, or like a proof of concept sort of in place, but he kind of actually made it work in a practical sense.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Okay. Yeah. Either way,
that seemed to be what they said. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah. I must have interpreted that wrong. But it's this is not new to the series either. Like we've seen many things that are kind of newish, like obviously transporters being one of them. We see those, not that they invented that, but we get to see that as well. So it's nice that they do that kind of thing in the show, because it is the prequel, right? Like it's the prequel of prequels. Like that's all this is, right? So it's nice to see
prequel to end all prequels.
Or beginning of them. Yeah, I don't know how you would word that, but yeah. So either way, but I liked even the aliens at the beginning. I like the fact that they offended them, and
Just
they're
by
completely clueless. Yeah, they're completely clueless, but yet throughout the episode, they give you the exact reason as to why they've offended them, but yet nobody's cluing into it yet. Like there's a scene where they're like, they were fine until they got to the mess hall, and it's like. Well, what did you do in the mess hall? You ate in front of them. Maybe that was the problem. Did they eat in front of you? No. Maybe that's probably it. Like it shouldn't take that long to come to this.
But I like that as a viewer, you don't really come to it either, because in all of the other Star Treks, I mean, this has never been a thing.
Yeah,
it's always over dinner. Everything is eating.
They're always
like
eating.
It's universal with all species, and I really like that they did that in this.
And these guys eat. They just don't eat in public, and they they treat it as like it's a private moment, right? So it's interesting.
Yeah, he went into the mess hall and found himself on Ryza.
Yeah,
eat the same way, but not basically in the presence of others.
Was this the Admiral Forrest? Like, was this Buddy? It is. It's Von Armstrong playing this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just like his voice is so distinctive. Like he played that Klingon earlier this season too.
He's literally like every character that shows up. If it isn't like played by somebody from a previous show, it's probably him.
Yeah,
it seems to be kind of how they do it, at least in the first season.
Yeah, this episode's directed too by Roxanne Dawson Biggs, or just Roxanne Dawson, I think at this point.
Back then,
yeah. So B'Elanna Torres, Bata.
Literally one of the worst characters in Star Trek, in my opinion. But
anyway. I love B'Elanna Torres. Don't you be slagging on B'Elanna Torres?
B'Elanna Torres is terrible.
Well, she's great. She's got a lot of pent up aggression.
Let me be angry all the time. That'll be fun.
Out of my way.
Out
of my way.
Patach.
She's literally the Klingon version of a Karen. That's what she is.
She's Klingon Karen.
She's Klingon Karen. So, but anyway,
and decent director, I think. Most of I enjoyed the episode she
I
directed.
think the shots were pretty decent. Yeah, I can't find any.
Well, I
real
guess it
fault
comes
with
down to what's a director's job in TV versus.
We have one coming up with Worf himself though. Worf
Wait,
directs an episode.
is Michael Dorn directing an episode?
Yep. Yeah, he
I
does.
can't
one-
remember him ever
I
directing.
think it's the second last episode of the season.
I can't remember him ever directing like a Next Gen or a Deep Space Nine episode or a Voyager episode. That
Yeah,
I
I
can
don't know.
remember.
We'll
But
have to look
hey,
that up.
they all maybe get a turn at it. But yeah, I guess in TV though, I think like a director's job is more about getting the actors to give like maybe like
Yeah, you're really guiding just the actors. It's not really the most of the shots is done by principal photography and stuff like that. So the the director of
and the
photography will do
writers
that.
have a lot more clout in TV, I think, than versus
yeah.
like in film, right?
I would
like
imagine, yeah.
Spielberg has ultimate creative.
Yeah, he
control.
can interpret the scene and make it different and stuff like that. Yeah, whereas they don't really do that in TV. I don't think it's all storyboarded and basically the director of photography kind of deals with it, right? So
Right. Showrunner, ultimately.
showrunner, yes, showrunner. Sorry. Oh, there we go. I forgot to turn that on. But yeah, no, I thought the episode was okay. I liked some of the conflict that was going on. The scenes with the guys in the cocoons, I probably don't need much of it. It was kind of boring.
Yeah, because it was Trip and Archer, and they already share a brain.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're the same person. Like this is my only problem. Like this is fine. This is a good Monster of the Week episode. It's good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I really think they messed up here. Like they could have had what if they had T'Pol and one of them,
Yes.
and they like find out like they start talking about that she does have emotions and how strong they are, or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Right.
Like they
But
got
that's
all this
something a little
time to be
more-
talking. Why couldn't they have something useful with it?
something interesting, right? Like,
Yeah.
like, and it's fine the way it is. I mean, to Paul being in charge of everything. I mean, they need that because everyone else is a fucking idiot.
For the most
So
part.
they need somebody to be in charge.
Yeah. The only one who's not is Phlox, but he's barely ever like in he has no agency. He's never in like the
He's really misused in the first season.
he doesn't
Like,
even come to like the staff meetings really
Yeah.
or anything, right?
Yeah.
Like
they give him more of an on-screen presence in the second and further
That's good
seasons.
because
I find.
every scene with him is good. He
Yeah, well, he's a
cares.
great actor to begin with,
Yeah.
and the guy's got a resume, the length of my leg easily.
I like the whole like
Um,
dissection thing he did here. I only got like the one little shot of it, but like he's like, there's what does he say? Like
This is no earthworm.
this is no earthworm.
Isolated. That clip sounds like a brag.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, ladies, this is no
Yeah, ladies.
earthworm.
This is no earthworm.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. No, but I like the conflict between him and Malcolm. I thought that was well done. Not just the Malcolm pulling rank thing, but also the previous part of that where Malcolm's like, well, I gotta like shock the hell and torture this thing to see what its tolerance is, and he's like, no, you're not doing that here. I'm sorry, it's not happening. Like that's not what we do, right? So
I
Phlox
find
has
it
a much more higher moral compass than
Yeah, I find it
some of the
interesting
people.
that this show is sort of pointing out that most of our higher ideals didn't come from us.
Yeah.
In the later
Came from the
shows,
other
like-
aliens we met, you mean?
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we were molded by the people that we met, right?
You took the
Like
best
aliens.
of maybe some of them, right? Especially like this Denoblian character, which seemed to have a massive influence on this first crew. That I guess
Well, they
trickled
mentioned
down.
that in the pilot episode too, that he was there to train the Earth guys in new methods of medical and stuff like that. So it's neat that they kind of incorporate some of that in there as well. So,
Mhm.
but that's the other thing I've always liked about this show is the fact that we're not seeing a perfect crew. Like it's with TNG, everybody's perfect, right? Like no one fucks up really. Jody always can get that coolant leak and
Worf fucks up sometimes.
Worf once in a while, but
When he killed like
stabs his brother occasionally.
when
Yeah.
he killed Duras and like
Duress should have gotten it.
Remember,
anyway,
like
so
when
that's fine.
Riker's like, "No, Worf," and he's like, "What?"
He's like, "Shut up! I'm gonna kill him
Just
anyway."
Yeah, just
Yeah.
drives the sword right into his chest,
Yeah.
and then Picard's like, "I can't technically do anything about this, but I'm mad."
And Worf's like, "Yeah, I don't care."
Yeah, I'm putting this on your permanent record.
Yeah, Worf's like, "Okay, whatever. I had Alexander. You can't do anything to me." That's pretty much what he looks like.
Well, yeah, it was kind of a traumatic episode. Like Kalar did get beaten to death by Duras, but
Yes,
yeah.
Kalar is the best Klingon ever.
She was like B'Elanna Torres. You hate B'Elanna Torres, but you like Kalar.
Kalar is awesome, though.
Kind of similar kind of energies, I think.
The problem is that Kalar wasn't whining all the time, and B'Elanna Torres whines all the time.
She whined about Worf, how the Worf sucked. She was like, "Worf,
That's
you
true.
suck. You're not you mope around, Worf, and and then they had
Talk about the old ways, and you're only half that anyway. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Taylor. I liked that actress as Q's wife as well.
Yes. When
Right.
she was a Q,
In
that was awesome.
Voyager.
She was Dr. Solar as well, the Vulcan doctor that works sometimes.
Yes.
with Crusher.
Oh, right.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, she's in a bunch of episodes. I think I feel like
She's
she was
another
on
one of those. Yeah, she's another one of those actresses that
Wasn't she on the Enterprise earlier this year? I felt like she was on an episode. I gotta look that one up.
I think she might have been. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
But anyway, either way. So yeah, I like the whole Phlox and Reed thing. And then when you look at the other side of the equation where you deal with T'Pol and Hoshi, I liked that Hoshi started cluing in near the end of the episode. She's like, you know what? Yeah, okay. She's not actually picking on me. She's trying to progress. She's trying to progress things, right? So
I really like the Hoshi character. I'm ready for her to have a little more confidence. just
yeah, she doesn't really gain that until at least the second season.
Yeah.
So
'Cause
they write her a little bit harder.
I know she
later
like
on.
the Linda Park's pretty young at this point, and
Yeah, well, she's
they're-
youngest on the crew.
they're playing her very young.
So.
Oh, let's bring this
Who's
down.
this? Oh my!
Hey.
Were you in
Mr.
Calgary?
Adam.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hold on, I can't hear you. I just came to say hello, guys.
Hey,
rating
Well,
Hey.
hello.
hello.
Oh.
Can't hear you.
Oh,
Okay. Well,
okay, bye.
okay, bye. Cameo.
It was a cameo. Yes. But anyway, so maybe he'll be back. Who knows? I thought it was Davin for a minute, but clearly Davin's not showing. Anyway, it's fine. Now, the one thing that, and actually this scene here perfectly projects this. Why is Porthos the smartest thing on this ship?
Oh, he's the smartest, but he was on to the he was on the
he could sense it.
Yeah, he knew what was going on. Nobody was paying attention to Porthos. Poor little
Yeah,
Porthos is just sitting there by himself, always hanging out on his bed there or his couch cushion, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's gotta be the loneliest dog ever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, Archer is too busy walking around and having dialogue all the time.
Does he take him
Like,
for
Yeah, that'd be
walks?
perfect for a dog. Bring the dog with you.
I want to know, where does this dog shit?
Right in Archer's
I don't
bed.
think there's an arboretum on this ship.
No. They're thinking about a
So-
swimming pool.
Well, no,
Uh,
because once the zero plating, ends up causing the gravity plating.
Only
causes
Archer.
issues.
Only
Yeah.
Archer.
You think we could put a
I don't
swimming
suppose
pool?
it.
Oh my
Hmm?
god.
I don't suppose it'd be practical to put a pool on the ship.
No, Archer, we can't put a huge pool on this ship so you can play water polo by yourself, you
Yeah, I was
dumbass.
gonna say with no one.
It'd be more practical to
Trip
leave
might show up, but that's about
more
it.
practical to leave like the starbase with like your actual weapons installed.
Yeah,
Actually,
you know,
that might be handy too.
I was thinking what they could do with this water polo thing is do like they did in Deep Space Nine and have a water polo
team?
match against the Vulcans, but like before Vulcans know how to swim, so it's just a bunch of Vulcans trying not to drown. And
yeah, Vulcans.
That sounds like a movie to me.
they're like a desert planet. They probably don't have much of a water polo team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
or
Anyway.
water polo on Mars might be interesting with like less gravity, or on the moon for that matter.
Yeah, so
it
either
doesn't matter
way-
what you do to water polo, it's never going to be interesting, Dave.
No,
Yeah.
like I agree. I'm not a water polo enthusiast. Why couldn't they give him hockey or something cool?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like literally, they do up character bios for shows like this, right? Like they do character bios. They have a lot of like standard things that they need to know about the character to keep it consistent.
Bible.
Yeah, it's basically a Bible, right? And there's somebody down the road that went, all right, we're gonna give him a sport. He's gonna be a big sports enthusiast, but we're gonna give him water polo as the sport. Like, is that some sort of sick joke or something? Like, what are they doing here?
Is that like Brandon Braga's like thing, maybe, or Rick Berman's or something like that?
We got to get to the bottom of this. We're gonna find out. So I'm gonna do some research.
Did Janeway have like a sport or an activity other than
No, but her thing was coffee.
Coffee. She liked to eat
Coffee was
cucumber sandwiches with like Victorian era children. She's like, I am your mistress.
Victorian era children.
Yeah, don't you know that about Janeway?
I know,
like,
I know.
That was like her holodeck fantasies. I'm like, this is what you give to her?
Yeah, this is it. And
she's like, I am your governess, and I am
and
here
Picard was into reading
your
and
tutor.
Yeah, he was into reading and history and
yeah,
and
like
that.
I get like Picard. He was a man of culture, a Renaissance man, and like even with Kirk, like you'd see him doing like karate or whatever sometimes, or different things. And Cisco baseball, of course,
Yes, yeah.
But Janeway and Archer, like they really started to go like, what is like? I guess he has a thing. It's water polo. It's just a weird thing to be, in particular. It's just like why not curling for that matter, or something like just really out there. And like even like and Trip, you're such a suck up, man. Just like pretending to be into this, and Archer's just like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
The one thing I am impressed with all the time in this show is their use of beer. They always have tons of beer. Like, and I know obviously like next gen had synthol and all that, but it's not really the same thing. Like this is actual beer. Like synthol doesn't exist yet as far as I know.
Right.
So this is actual beer, and we saw them in that birthday episode where they had the keg. It's like so literally did Trip just like bring a bunch of they
got pretzels there, and
they got pretzels as well. It's like, what are we doing?
Bring the essentials.
Well, I like they've been out here for about,
but they're watching it on this little tiny screen,
right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't even look good. It looks like the worst resolution you've ever seen. Like, I know it's over subspace, but it's not even widescreen. It's just,
well, no.
And he's like, oh,
that's just water polo. That makes it. That's actually an HD screen. It just water polo fucks it up.
That's
just makes it look like it was recorded on a Sony camcorder in '87.
Yeah, and like I think even like Trip at one point's like, well, it's not football. I guess that's Trip's game of choice.
Yeah. Texas, yeah.
Yeah, they had this whole Texas California thing, and I guess it's implied, I guess, that Archer went to Stanford, right? Like that's the only.
But like he's from California. Like
San
if he's
Francisco.
from San Francisco, like wouldn't you think he would have another sport? Like he would have like surfing or something like that. Like like anything would make more sense than water
sailing,
polo.
even
sailing. Yeah, he could be a nice sailor, something like that. Who knows? But mind you, they don't have a holodeck, so it's not.
It just seems like a real like rich boy sport. I guess there's no money in this period of time, like they're post economics. But it's just like he's like it. How deep's that pool? I was like, well, it's so deep.
They can't
Deep enough so that no one can touch the bottom.
Right. Yeah,
so what? 6'5"?
It is badass, man. This, and then he's like later on, he's like, every time we were down in the water polo, I knew I had to come back.
As soon as you give up,
that's the worst.
The game's lost.
Yeah, the game's lost.
Here comes the Kevin size.
Yeah. What am I thinking? Concentrate. It's fucking water polo. No wonder he can't concentrate.
Yeah.
Stop it. Nobody understands water polo metaphor.
You have almost naked men grabbing you and trying to get your ball.
Mm-hmm. And you're wearing this weird hat.
Well, it's just a
what
swim
is it?
Cap.
It's a swim cap? It's not a swim cap, is it? Like,
yeah.
What are these
added
things?
A little bit.
It's like it's some I don't know. I guess it's a wrestling cap or something.
Well,
like
yeah, something. Yeah, I guess it's got ear protection and stuff like that.
So you can hear, but your hair doesn't get wet. I don't really understand what.
It just seems like it's a bunch of guys fucking around in the pool.
I always thought it was a bunch of guys screwing around in a pool.
And I thought it was just a bunch of guys screwing around in a pool.
Hopefully
It
we don't
is.
get on like some sort of water polo blacklist or something.
Oh, it's okay. I'll be on that list. It's fine.
But
It never,
anyway,
like,
yeah,
I'm a
go ahead.
swimmer and everything. I took a lot of swimming when
Yeah,
I was
me
a
too.
kid.
Yeah.
I never was asked to play water polo once.
Nope.
So
Never
I've
played
never
water
met
polo.
anybody in my life ever that liked water polo in any way.
So do you think it's an American thing, maybe?
The other thing is too about the Star Trek universe is that we know by the time of Cisco, like baseball is kind of passe, like nobody's played it in a long time because it was a boring, slow game, and like other games
I
like
agree.
Greasy Squares came along and replaced it. And they're like, but somehow this game endured at least until the 2150s.
Well, water polo, I think, is probably more exciting than baseball.
You do notice it wasn't like a professional game. It was still the college.
It was like
College.
college level, yeah.
Yeah. It was, and like, but it seemed like it was like the rivalry. Like, well, but Tripp is from Florida. He's not from Texas, but maybe he went to school in Texas or something. I don't know. Or it's just
Yeah.
the South versus the West. I don't know. Like it was kind of like they were trying to play up the regional rivalry of the states, but
So maybe he went to Texas University or something.
maybe like before Starfleet Academy, I guess, you know.
Yeah,
like,
maybe. I assume that still exists.
Or maybe he has no relation to Texas and he just wants to be on the other side of Archer.
yeah, he's just
Maybe.
like we're cheering for. I'm cheering for the other guys.
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
So
He was trying to cheer. I think earlier on, where he's trying to cheer him up because like that whole the whole thing that went bad with the Cretausans, right? You know, and like Archer's just sitting there in his thing.
It better be important.
Yeah,
It's
like-
water polo.
like, well, yeah, but like, why is he like such an ass about that? Like, number one, if somebody's coming to the captain's quarters, they probably have some sort of business with the captain. That would be kind of an
DePaul
easy way
warns
to-
him. DePaul warns him like, yeah, you might want to leave him for a bit.
Yeah, he's kind of cranky right now. It's like, well, yeah, but like, tell him to grow a pair. Like, yeah, you fucked up one thing, big deal.
He's like, let's go check out these brown dwarf stars or something.
Yeah.
You know, and Tripp's like, no, man, we gotta go watch I got the game. I got the finals.
Yeah, he's like, I have water polo on disc. Let's do this. Let's get some pretzels and tap one of them kegs, yo.
These pretzels are making me thirsty. That's
Yeah.
a Seinfeld reference. Which I know you won't like. It's okay.
Great.
I hate Seinfeld.
Look at his
Anyway.
face. Look at his face.
Yeah, like he's so pissy.
Ah!
And then he's like, but water polo.
But water polo, you say?
Yeah, exactly. It's it's so crazy.
Let's change it into our civvies. And there's also the movie. We forgot about the movie. Guys.
Oh yes, the movie part.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
where there was
Now
some
this girl, the girl right here looks very familiar, and I don't know why. So I don't know if she was in something else or if she played.
Interesting to me that like when they go to movie night, some of them stay in uniform, some of them dress into other clothes.
Well, I also think it's who's still on duty, right? You might find that
Maybe,
the
I
people that
guess,
are in uniform are on duty, but they're allowed a pass to do this until something comes up, right? So
Yeah, because you remember the scene on the bridge with Mayweather when they finally contact that other species. He's the only one on the bridge.
yeah, he's the one left. Everyone else is busy.
There's
Everybody
people
else is doing
milling
some-
about in the back, but
everybody else is drinking beer and,
Yeah.
and watching water polo.
He's like, we don't even know what we did. What did we do?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
the whole
crazy.
conversation where with him and Vaughn Armstrong, and he's just like, sorry, you know.
Yeah.
I thought like you eat like you mate too was kind of like I think like they could have done it maybe more like direct and say you eat like you poop or something like that, because obviously we all go to the bathroom but we don't do it in front of each other, and I got like that. I felt like that was more akin or a better
Well,
example.
I think it was supposed to portray the fact that the translator's not working right either, right? Like, so she's getting little pieces of the puzzle, but we don't get enough that we know what happened.
Yeah,
So-
well, we're not supposed to really get it.
I don't think we're
The same
supposed
word
to
can
know
have
till
a
after.
dozen different meanings.
Right.
which is also true in English. So
my other thing with this is when they contact Mayweather and all of a sudden they're speaking English, no problem. That I was like, that's kind of lazy. Like,
he's like, yeah, we looked at your.
No, we studied it up. It's been a couple of hours, and now we're fluent.
Why didn't you guys do that before you invited them over?
Yeah.
You know, like, we'll be over in a bit.
It's not a big deal. It's just a little thing. I was like, oh, come on.
Well, you know, does Hoshi feel so bad at the beginning because Archer's so mad that she couldn't kind of make it work? You know,
so she has a confidence problem.
Yeah,
we already know that. And on top of that, you know, she's literally there, as T'Pol kind of said, you know, that's your job. Your job is to do this, and yet you didn't do it, right? So T'Pol, even though is kind of being crude about it, she's right. Like, you fucked it up, right? But that's part of the job and part of learning how to fix it up, right? So
try to learn from failure.
Yeah, try to learn from failure. There you go. So
you don't have to be emotional. They have a real,
you don't have to be emotional. They're
the two women characters of this senior staff, and they're just kind of like,
they're always kind of up each other's ass.
They've been playing that up since the pilot, you know, that they were gonna, you know, kind of. She wasn't necessarily going to be like, yes, sir, you're my superior officer, sub commander, or whatever.
I thought after that episode with the Targs, you remember that?
Yes.
I thought that they were going to like. Paul was going to become like her mentor, right? And then this looks like they're going to do it again. But you guys have told me already that they don't really do that going forward.
Well, they did it again a little bit here, so it seemed like a first season idea. But maybe
it's an occasional thing that happens once in a blue moon, but it's not. It's never concrete.
I think that could have been a good.
And like I was saying, just before Adam came in there, I feel like Hoshi, even though she's really young, Linda Park's really young, and they try to play like her and Mayweather up as the two young people. Like, she doesn't feel, she feels older, like an older soul, right? She seems like she's super capable, whereas like Mayweather feels like he's like 12 years old, basically.
Yeah, Mayweather literally, like, they plucked him from a freighter and put him on this. Like,
Mayweather's
he's got no experience past that.
12-year-old Jody.
Yeah. Like, it's just like, what? Oh, did we eat in front of you? Sorry, sincerely sorry. You know?
Oh my God, is there a coolant leak?
Coolant leak.
Can you just can you tell us what to do with this alien? Huh? Right? And you know, whereas Hoshi's always kind of like either combative or, you know, but she feels like she's going to be one of the smartest people on the ship, and even like that's kind of what T'Pol's point is. Like, you are one of the best people we have, so just do your job and
just do your job and stop being
so fucking emotional and do your job.
Stop being so emotional. But I like the interactions throughout this episode. I thought it was good. The only interactions that don't work for me are the ones that have to do with the cocoon stuff. But you know, what can you do, I guess, with that? But it almost was like the cocoon part was kind of like a second plot to the actual plot, which is let's see how these two characters interact. And we get that a couple times with different characters, right? So
yeah,
it's almost like it's a side note.
Archer and Trip, together is kind of I think wasted opportunity to Kevin's earlier point. And then they throw in like these three like kind of red shirts for, you know, like that kind of really don't bring much to this episode at all. Like they're in it, but like it's, you know,
they just have to be the first ones to get captured, so that way Archer shows up. And I don't know why Archer, for some strange reason, loves to investigate everything. Like, you have all this staff, send them. Like, you're in charge of this damn thing.
The only one who got out of the room was Reed.
Like, you know, and he's not in charge of anybody, even with them gone.
Yeah, even with them gone, he's like a second-rate citizen. Like, it's
he's not in charge because T'Pol is still around, and then he goes to sick bay and he's not in charge there.
So basically, Hoshi spends most of this episode trying to figure out how she can communicate with this cocoon creature thing, sperm monster thing, whatever you want to call it.
Sperm monster. I like that.
Sperm monster. Okay, we'll do sperm monster. But you know, and that's literally the whole thing with her. And then you have Reed on the other side who's like, I want to erect a force field, but first I want to make it be painful to whatever it is that I'm using with it. You know, so I got to go down and talk to Phlox about this and see what he says, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm just going to do it anyway. And then Phlox is going to tell me off. But so really the episode itself, it doesn't drag, but there's not a lot of content. Like, to me, there isn't a lot of content.
Yeah, it's a basic like a monster captures the crew. We gotta rescue.
We gotta figure out how to get them out.
Problem
and
solve
get
it,
rid of the monster.
And there's some interpersonal conflicts along the way, and then tidy and
tidy, and we're done. Yeah.
And then the whole conclusion of the episode, I felt like really dragged, where it's like it's giving us coordinates. We're learning to talk to it. Like I liked the problem solving with like.
At least they ended it for more than 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Because usually it's the other way around. Usually it's like we get an ending that's so abrupt and fast that it makes no sense.
Right. So they took a little bit more time there. Maybe
they took more time.
Maybe a minute more than I wanted. So it's hardly a gripe. But like I like the earlier parts where they're making the force field, they're figuring it out. They're it's like teamwork.
So here's my only problem with this scene. Okay, what is in this scene? We have the emitters and 2 guys and a guy shooting a phaser around torpedoes. Does anybody else think that this is a bad idea? Like, what happens if that phaser just kind of bounces off and hits one of them torpedoes, man? Like,
the armory officer was cool with it. Yeah.
Well, the
Reed's
armor
in
officer,
charge of this.
yeah, but
Reed's like, fuck you, I'm in charge here. I'll do what I want.
If anywhere I'm the boss, it's here in the armary.
I will
This is
light
like my
this
sick
bitch
bay.
on fire. Yeah, like that's just Reed, right? But yeah, anyway, but he gets much more structured later on in the series. But yeah, for the first 2 seasons, he's
What do we
just
make
like,
of
let's
Reed?
kill everything.
He's like, I'm Mr. British man, but I'm also kind of like amoral in some ways. Or
He's very amoral.
And he's very dark. Remember, like when he was like, "We're gonna die out here, Trip in space." In the shuttle pod.
Trip's like, pass me the mashed potatoes.
Pass me the bourbon.
Yeah.
I'm good, and like, and then other times he's like, we got to save the captain. We got to save the captain, right? And he kind of almost has like this Worf-esque kind of attribute to him, where he's like, I'm Mr. Protective. It doesn't really fit him very well for me, but like,
Anyway, so they end up erecting this force field thing, and on top of that, Hoshi ends up talking to this creature, makes the most annoying noise in the world for like a good solid 2 minutes of the episode, and we have to hear it the whole time. Which
I didn't pull it; it was too annoying.
Oh yeah, I would probably quit at that point. But it's brutal. That's
sperm monster.
The sperm monster. He talks in some very weird tones, and it's gross. But anyway,
what's the ending again? Like they let it go.
They end up taking it back to its homeworld thing.
Yeah,
and then drop it off in this crater.
And that's it,
from the planet that it came from, because that's where the other guys were before that happened.
They're like, yeah, we were there and we saw this, but it didn't really.
What's that?
Hoshi tells them that they're taking it home, and it lets everybody go.
Yeah.
Leaves the sperm on them, obviously.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like Archer.
Now there is one scene that's pretty fun though, and it's right before Archer starts his little speech, and he's in the cocoon, and there's one part where just like a drop of the shit just goes right in his mouth, and I'm just like,
yeah,
like I'm sure this is probably just like cornstarch and water or something. Like it's probably something very.
They had a rough
basic.
day on set, I'm sure. Just getting in and out of that stuff, and
Yeah.
just like here at the end, I love this here at the end where he's just like, and
They slimed me.
T'Pol's, do you need a towel?
Yeah.
What's up, man? Do you want to go? I guess you want to go in your pool now for some water polo.
Yeah, I want to do some water polo now. I guess you're going to the sonic shower. Yeah. But
And so
anyways,
then, and that's they don't have sonic showers. Remember, like
Oh,
the
that's
one
right.
place they didn't attach like a safety handle was the shower.
yes,
they're all,
that's right,
they're all
yeah.
over the ship in
And he's
case the
flying around. Yeah, he's flying around when there's
plating
no
fails,
gravity,
but not there.
which seems to happen a lot in this series. So
Yeah,
they got to really
okay.
perfect that. Anyway, I guess it's time for some fun facts.
All right, fun facts.
All right,
with
I got
Jody.
some here. All right. Joseph Will Rostov auditioned for the role of Charles Tripp Tucker, which is actually one of the guys who was one of the like extra kind of guys.
The one
it
that
was
talks
turned-
or the one that doesn't talk.
The one that doesn't.
Michael Rostov, crewman Michael.
Yeah,
okay.
crewman. Yeah. It was down to the final 2 between him and Connor Trenier, and Trenier ended up getting the role.
I think they
which-
picked the right guy.
Well, probably. Yeah, realistically. So this is one of 11 Star Trek episodes with a Latin title. The others are Dramatis Prole. I'm not going to read them all. There's a whole bunch of them. But basically, it's mostly DS9 and Voyager.
What does this mean in Latin? What's the translation?
Oh, it means, I think it's one voice. Or
lone
solo
voice?
Lone voice. Yeah, lone voice. So yeah, there you go. The music that plays when the alien creature is shown is reminiscent of the theme from The Black Hole from 1979, especially the final scene on the creature's homeworld. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Joseph Wills, which is Rostov, also played Keyless on Star Trek Voyager's Muse, a Quarian security officer in Workforce Part 2, and security chief officer in Star Trek The Experience Board Invasion 4D, which was a ride, I guess.
What an eclectic collection of things.
That's really all over the place. Hoshi's handheld translating device is actually a general radio sound level meter used to measure sound pressure levels in decibels. So it's an actual real device.
Like the one at the beginning where she's like trying to figure out
where
the
she's
language?
holding the thing. Yeah.
This thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, not that thing.
No, not that thing.
No, the handheld thing with the two prongs.
Like at the that she's at the very beginning here where she's this thing.
That thing.
Yeah. That's an actual decibel meter, apparently. Right. The dialogue in Act 4 between T'Pol and Hoshi is the first on-screen confirmation that T'Pol is Enterprise's first officer, in addition to science officer. This is frequently implied in previous episodes, with T'Pol asserting that her Vulcan subcommander rank supersedes Trip's Starfleet commander's rank. Which was mentioned in Broken Bow, which I don't know if have we got. Yeah, Broken Bow was the first episode. And with Archer's consistently assigning command to T'Pol first when leaving the ship and or the bridge. So this is the first time it's been actually confirmed, but
that she's the executive officer. And
she's literally the executive officer. Yeah.
Right.
So
I still don't understand how a sub commander is higher than a commander.
Well, because in Vulcan everything's better, right? So
I guess is a commander higher than a captain?
Like
the
commander of Vulcan
of a Vulcan ship.
I don't know. I would imagine they're probably equal.
You would say so.
Because a sub commander would be one lower, right?
Right. So like commander and sub commander, that's like a Romulan and Vulcan rank system. And then then it's captain, then Navy ranks like captain, commander.
It's like Navy, yeah, basically. Yeah. So the device that Malcolm Reed uses to erect a force field consists partially of several earpieces as used by Lieutenant Uhura in the original Star Trek Enterprise series. So
really?
Star Trek series, yeah. Do you have a picture of that?
I do.
Be nice to
see. It is okay. Like you have to look really closely, but yeah, it's like in those little emitters there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're sticking out.
Yeah, you can see the little things sticking out. That's so neat.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that.
I didn't either. Yeah. Well, there you go. That's why we have fun facts.
Fun facts with Jody.
This is also marks the first time that an Earth ship uses a force field. So there you go. I think that was Kevin that brought that one up.
I wondered here too, like, did the Vulcans already have force fields yet, or like they had tractor beams at least, right? So it's
Vulcans had everything first.
Because the way
I'm thinking maybe not because she doesn't help.
Yeah, she's like, oh, don't worry, we know all about force fields on the Vulcan ships.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I think that's it.
That's it. Okay.
I say we rate it.
Right.
Rate it. Move on, gentlemen.
Paul was just like force fields, so boring.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna help.
What's next? Comets, gas giants, brown dwarf stars.
Let's go watch some brown dwarfs then. Why don't we?
Yeah. All right, Vox Sola, one of the episodes with a Latin name. Jody, what would you give this one?
I'm gonna give it a 7.5 again.
All right. I'm not here. Well, he was here for a second. Couldn't hear us. I will give this
a rating.
I think this was I like this. Okay. I give this an 8.
I'll go 7.5. I like it. Okay, too.
Yeah, it's okay.
Got water polo.
Like I don't regret watching it.
I watched it twice and I wasn't bored. So
yeah, I watched it twice too. Yeah.
So just with us 3 tonight, it's a 7.7 rating. About as good as it's been since acquisition. And it's got a fairly low rating on IMDb for whatever reason.
Well, it just goes to show you because IMDb says that Oasis is a 7. Oasis is a garbage episode.
It also thinks Rogue Planet's a 6.6. So
Yeah,
it's
like-
giving it a similar. I guess it's like whoever went out of their way to rate Enterprise episodes. You know, it's something. It's kind of a
that guy
random.
that it's like that guy that was leaving comments in our YouTube thing.
Mhm.
On
As
the Picard
mentioned,
one.
Roxanne Dawson, belonged towards herself, and I guess this is like again like Rick. Like look how much Rick Berman and Brandon Braga have written the
First
story.
season, it's all them.
It's all them.
them.
Like they must
All
have
them
just
first
like
season.
howled up in a cabin for weeks, coming up with pitches for stories.
And it shows.
It shows, yeah. And Fred Decker,
Oasis.
Oasis, and Rogue Planet, and all these
And,
things. Like,
Terra
this is-
Nova.
This is unusual for a show of this era, for this
Yes,
many
it is.
episodes to be written like this. And what was actually? Sorry, I don't think that date's right. What is the date of this episode?
Oh, I have no idea.
May 1st. Oh, it is right. Yeah, May 1st. Okay.
Yeah, it was May 1st. May 1st, 2000.
I said there was a Hoshi episode, but I'm going to go and I think it's ensemble.
It's pretty much ensemble. Yeah. It focuses on Hoshi, but
A little
I wouldn't
bit, but
say
like
it
not
focuses-
solely.
It doesn't focus enough on her.
Okay. What comes after this one, Jody?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, Dave, because I actually have that this time. Go figure. So next week's episode is Fallen Hero. Escorting a Vulcan ambassador accused of criminal misconduct, the Enterprise comes under attack by a corrupt race. T'Pol asks for Archer's help in defending their charge.
Could be good.
I remember it being decent. It's a woman ambassador. I can't remember her
Okay.
name.
I don't think I've seen this one yet.
It's a good episode.
Fallen
it's-
Hero.
yeah.
Okay, and Fiona Flanagan's in it.
Yes,
Uh,
that's who it
I-
is. Yeah,
Who I know from like she's been in Star Trek before too. I think
I believe so. Yeah,
I'm trying to remember
yeah.
exactly.
She's got
what
one
it
of
is.
those familiar faces. When you see her,
Uh,
you're gonna go, "Yeah, I've seen her in something else."
She was Juliana Tainer. She was Data's mom.
Ah, you're right.
Remember?
Yeah,
That's what she's from.
Yeah.
And she was on. She was also in the Deep Space Nine episode Dax from the first season, where she's like the widow of the guy that Dax is.
oh, the
accused
guy
of
that. Yeah,
having
I know
killed.
who you're talking about.
She's
Yeah.
a good Irish actress. So
Star Trek
yeah.
definitely knows how to deal with Irish actors.
Oh yeah, like Kate Mulgrew being one of the top ones.
Yeah.
Right. So Irish American at least. Okay.
Well,
so
and Taurus from Picard.
oh yes. Well, you mean Taurus? You mean Talon or Laris?
Talon or Laris. Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna say Taurus from now on.
Yeah.
We'll cover both of them that way.
Covers all bases.
Covers them all.
Yeah.
Speaking
All
of
right.
which, Dave, we do other things on this channel.
Yes, well, sometimes some weeks more than others. So right now, Star Trek Deep Space Nine at 9ish. It's been a rewatch series we do on Deep Space Nine for the last 2 years. Right now on hiatus. Just Jeff, I think Jeff really needs to get through, these early days of having a baby.
Yeah.
So I think in
Yeah.
particular, I'm feeling that right now with him. So we're gonna come back. Plus, ball hockey is starting up for us, so we're just gonna take a few weeks off at least, and then we're going to come back to the rewatch series on Deep Space Nine. And then also, but right now Thursdays, actively watching the newest episode, Star Trek Picard season 2, episode 9, Hide and Seek, coming out this Thursday, and we're gonna be covering that.
Hopefully better than last week's.
Yeah, it was a polarizing episode last week for the panel, and so I always enjoy those podcasts. I'm like, those are the ones I really remember when we all disagreed about whether it was good or not. So the 9 out of 10 episodes will be done after this week, and then the finale is next week for Star Trek Picard.
And then Strange New Worlds
comes out May 5th. So we're gonna be covering that as
I
well.
still haven't decided if I should be excited for this or not.
I don't know. Like I'm gonna try to just watch it.
There's
for
a
what
lot
it
of things
is.
I like in the trailers, but it's the characters that I don't think I'm going to enjoy. But we'll see.
Yeah, like I don't know. I'm open to it. They got to win me over, of course, but I will go in with an open mind.
The Nurse Chapel character is the one that's driving me nuts right now.
Just from like little preview we saw.
Yeah,
She seemed
I
like.
hope she doesn't act like that the whole time.
What did she act like?
Very saucy and
Saucy. You don't like the saucies.
well,
like Polana Taurus.
You're on a military ship. Saucy is not something that normally happens.
Saucy nerd. Yeah, well, it's not. I don't like when they take a character from like the original series, like Nurse Chapel or Spock or Uhura. Just be consistent with who that character was. You know,
yes.
In the
Stop trying to
show.
reinvent them.
And they are really trying to reinvent.
They're established characters.
They're like, no, this character was actually not passive. This character was tough, or was this or that.
Okay.
Like, okay, I guess. So I don't know. I think we can debate the merits of that when it comes out. But anyway, Star Trek Strange New Worlds on the horizon as well. And Star Trek Radio Theater we're in post-production for Darmok right now, finishing the audio version and looking ahead, I guess, to May 8th.
His hands wide.
Or probably around May 7th or May 8th. We're going to look to do the Star Trek episode Family Business. Yes, and so looking forward to that. I
gotta wait for another Q episode to show up.
Yeah, I don't know when we'll do Q next exactly. I don't even know what we're doing after the Moogie.
But
Maybe
we should do that Voyager episode with
which one?
Q's wife.
The one I want to really do from Voyager is Death Wish, which is the one where the Q wants to commit suicide.
Oh, that is a cool episode, though. I like that one. Yeah.
I think that one's it's just people talking around a table. It's like it would work perfectly for the format. So
that's a great episode too.
That is a good episode. Yeah.
So looking forward to doing that. And then also Super Mater Brothers podcasting. We cover all kinds of things right now. Big Brother Canada 10, 2 weeks left. We're in week 9 right now. There's 5 people left. I'll be on later tonight with Jaemeel to break that down. The newest episode, the newest HOH and the nominees Wednesday and on Thursday as we get down to that. And then Survivor season 42 Wednesdays right now. We're covering that. Jeff and Jaemeel and I. We're now into the merge up to episode 9. And Marvel, we're going to be covering Moon Knight in the near future, as well as Doctor Strange. And we were going to do Severance, but then Jaemeel was too tired last night, so we had to push that. So different shows and TV not related to Star Trek. And guess what? This Sunday, May 1st, Trivial Debates, our 3rd channel. We got the next edition coming up. We got
oh boy.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
This is going
to be a train wreck.
Yeah, this is going to be something. So Chris Seymour, Matt George, and Tim Seymour competing with Eamon Mater, also known as Sam Jerka, hosting. So
boy.
Yeah.
I don't even have words.
I don't know if they'll have words, but we're gonna see.
I think Matt George
they'll
is gonna
have
win.
words.
They'll have
words for sure.
I was like, Tim, you want to do this? He's like, who am I competing against? Your brother. He's like, I'll win. I was like, of course, Tim. Of course. Yes.
Yeah,
but
sure
you don't know
can.
Matt George. He was like, I don't need to know Matt George. It's fine. And then Chris said, he's like,
Matt.
Chris is like, I love this new Primus song. I'm like, that's cool. He was like, whatever the music question is, my answer is this song. I was like, okay. So it's that's his plan. Get ready for that this Sunday, May 1st, as we bring out the next edition of Trivial Debates. It's exciting just looking at it almost in a way. The potential that's going to come here. Matt George has never competed before.
It's going to be fun seeing Eamon try to keep control.
Yeah.
Yeah, with these guys.
with 2 Seymours on the panel? Good luck.
The time limits will definitely need to be enforced strictly with these 3.
You're going to have to help them too, I think.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. So check that out this Sunday. Also, check out Eamon's podcast. Let's talk about fighting games. He does with Super Smash Bro, Seth, and Paranoia, as well as the Hellbound podcast with Michael Chan and Alex Blackburn every Wednesday. It's a horror themed podcast. And check out Davin's podcast, Locutors of Trek, which I was on last night doing the Star Trek trivia with Ashley Millard hosting.
I watched that.
Yes, it was a lot of fun.
I don't know how you guys know all that crap, but
I didn't know all of it. Like there was a lot of, she stumped me a bunch of times on a bunch of.
Well, I
things.
don't want to give away who won, but I think that might not be accurate.
Yeah, well, Locutors of Trek. So check out that Davin's podcast, and then he couldn't be with us tonight because he had to prep for X-Men, the animated series rewatch, X-rated. He does with Andre every Tuesday night. They'll go through each episode, rate it, review it, much like we did here on.
What is this prep thing?
I guess he pulls a couple sounds, but like I do it like 5 minutes before the show, and I'm a pro. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's true. You are a god among podcasters.
Thank you. You're too kind, sir.
We should go watch some water polo now.
Yeah, we should. Hell of a
Drink some
game.
beers.
Best sport.
Best sport in the world.
Right. So anyway, I think that's all the plugs.
right.
Thanks for being with us tonight. Thanks, Jody. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks to Adam. We're popping in the airport
For that 5 seconds there.
Yeah, that was good. And then we'll play us out on a clip. How about that?
All right.
I didn't know it was such a rough game.
Think of it as one part basketball, one part swimming, and one part wrestling.
And I thought it was just a bunch of guys screwing around in a pool.
It is.
Yeah, live like a podcast, everyone.